Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/AmITheDevil for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading the posts, giving you my own opinion, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for expecting my daughter to do chores? I, 50 male, lost my wife 10 years ago. It's just me and my two kids, N, 17 male, and E, female 15. Recently, it caused a big stink with some family that my daughter does chores, but my son does not. I explained it's because I have to spend extra on my daughter each month, not only for her extracurriculars. Oh, fuck you. But for her monthly supplies. So it's my way of having her pay me back. She cleans the shared living spaces and bathrooms in our apartment and cooks 4 meals a week. My brother said I spend twice as much on my son's extracurriculars, and by my logic, he should have to do chores too. I explained he didn't because I feel this could help him get into college. But hers were just a hobby in my opinion. E overheard me say this and was very upset. She started refusing to do chores because it isn't fair. I told her she'd still be doing her chores and life isn't fair, so stop being a brat. Or I'd Oh, shit. Oh, this cannot be real. Or I'd refuse to pay for her extracurricular stuff or pads. I wouldn't actually do that, but I was mad when I said it. She packed a bag and took off. She's been staying with my sister, who called me an abusive asshole when I demanded she send E home. My brother and sister are coddling her, and I'm furious. N said I was being an asshole to E, and that's why she left. I'm completely fed up with the whole thing. Am I the asshole for expecting her to do chores? Edit to add, my son plays football and baseball while daughter is in choir and a dance group, so yes, I do think my son has a better chance at getting a scholarship. I'm not sexist and I don't appreciate being called one. And for those of you messaging me saying you hope someone calls CPS on me, I'm not doing anything wrong. So that's just stupid. You're just fucking sexist. Oh my god, assuming you're a real human. Do you actually like your daughter? Because it doesn't feel like it at all. And by the way, having extracurricular activities like choir or dance doesn't decreases your chances of getting a scholarship. Actually, it increases them. By the way, there are plenty of scholarships or financial aid services that lap up the fact that someone has extracurricular activities. Not to mention the fact that, by the way, there are dance and choir scholarships. Those are a thing. In fact, if I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, it's probably more likely your daughter would get a scholarship for those than your son would for baseball or football. Thank God she had somewhere safe to run to, because you are gross. And how's no contact treating you? Because this was 5 years ago at this point in time. I can only imagine that she probably doesn't have any contact with you at this point in time. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for not thinking the joke my family played on my girlfriend was a big deal? I, 25 male, have a girlfriend, 23 female, who is absolutely beautiful, but she does have a large facial scar. My family often jokes about it. They have a super dark sense of humor. It bothers my girlfriend, and she says it doesn't feel like a joke. It feels like she's being insulted under the pretense of it being dark humor. Even though I explained it's just how they are, and they don't mean any harm. She doesn't really want to be around them. I told her it was really important to me we spend Christmas with my family. We would all quarantine first and test, but it was important to me. She resisted at first, but after some urging from me, she gave in. She said I absolutely could not excuse their behavior if they made a rude comment about her though. We got there, and it was fine for a while. Then my mom and sister broke out their matching ugly sweaters that had my girlfriend's face all over it. They both laughed, saying my mom made them, screen printed, and it was just a joke. Oh my fucking god. My dad thought it was hilarious. I even chuckled a little because she's really beautiful, so it was ironic that they put her on the ugly sweater. My girlfriend looked at me, and when I said they're just being ironic, she shook her head, got up, and left. Didn't say anything to anyone, just took her car and left. I called her several times and she didn't answer. The only text I received was, "You need to find your own way home." That pissed me off, and I called her a couple more times. The whole time my mom is upset because it was just a joke, and she didn't realize my girlfriend was going to overreact like that. I told her that a warning would have been nice, but my sister agreed it was just a joke and my girlfriend was being a baby about it. I had another fight with my girlfriend when I finally got home, and she said I was an asshole for putting her in that situation, and I said I didn't realize they were going to do that, and they were being ironic because she was beautiful. She said I let them treat her badly and was trying to make it her fault when it was my family who was acting badly. I said it was just a joke and that she was overreacting. She asked how it was supposed to be a joke. I said that it was just their sense of humor. I said I was sorry she was offended by the joke, but she ruined the whole day with her reaction. She said that no, them realizing she wasn't going to take their bullshit anymore ruined the day. We aren't speaking currently, but when a cousin called to wish me a Merry Christmas and asked how the day went, I mentioned what happened and he straight up called me an asshole for doing that to her. I don't really think I've done anything though. I didn't know they were going to do that, and really, it was just a joke, and I think she's overreacting. Am I really the asshole here? Hey, so, as someone who has a dark sense of humor, bullying isn't a dark sense of humor, it's just being an asshole. Like, you gotta think about this from your girlfriend's perspective. She told you that she wasn't gonna tolerate any shit, and she wanted you to stand up for her. That you were to not excuse their behavior if they made fun of her scar as they previously had done. It clearly makes her uncomfortable. You've made no attempt at all to let your family know that, like, hey, I understand this is your sense of humor, quote unquote, but she doesn't appreciate it, and maybe we shouldn't do that. Instead, from your girlfriend's perspective, you guys showed up and they came out with sweaters. Ugly Christmas sweaters, with her face printed on them, that they had spent money on and flaunted around, and everyone, including you, found funny. The bullshit excuse of, I don't see what the problem is because she's beautiful and it's ironic that she's on an ugly Christmas sweater, is ridiculous. Think about that from her point of view and what she's seeing. She's seeing your family put her face on an ugly Christmas sweater. What conclusion is she supposed to make from that? What joke is there? Also, of fucking course your sister is gonna say she's being a baby. She was one of the aggressors. If I, let's say, showed up to a family Christmas party with an aluminum bat, and my buddy also showed up to that family Christmas party with an aluminum bat, and we soloed someone out and hit them in the shins numerous times with said aluminum bats, and they ran out crying because they didn't understand that it was just a dark sense of humor prank, and that they're just being babies about it. You would probably think, no, dude, what the fuck? You just hit him with an aluminum bat. What are you talking about? Shocker, one of the perpetrators who hides their bullying as it being a dark sense of humor says that they're just being a baby and don't understand it. Oh god, shocker. An asshole who hides all of their shitty actions behind it was just a joke or I wasn't being serious. You had one job, and that was to stand by your girlfriend, and instead you stood by your family despite what she deliberately asked you to do because them insulting her facial scar, she wasn't a fan of that. Sense of humor or not. I hope she dumped your ass. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for ruining my daughter's birthday? Throwaway because my daughter uses Reddit. I, 45 male, have 3 kids. 16 male, 14 male, and 12 female. This story concerns 12 female. Now, my daughter's birthday falls on New Year's, so it tends to be disregarded. Never on purpose, because it's between 2 big holidays, but we've always tried to make her feel special. My daughter is a known introvert and tends to spend a lot of time in her room, and if we're at a family event, she just sits in a corner on her phone. She also is very unconventional in the sense that she doesn't desire a lot of things that are typical of girls her age. Me and my wife have tried to fix this and get her to open up more, but to no avail. The issue arose because when me and my wife asked her how she wanted to spend her birthday, she said something along the lines of, alone with snacks in my room. This request wasn't outlandish for her, but spending your birthday alone doesn't seem like a good way to spend your birthday. It would also reflect poorly on us, as the family likes big celebrations. So, instead, we invited family over on her birthday for a birthday/New Year's celebration. It was a barbecue with lots of snacks, a projector that my brother brought, and a rented bouncy castle. I thought she would realize that this was better and a more productive way to spend her birthday. But I was wrong. She was miserable the whole time and just sat in the corner. When everyone left late at night, she started screaming at me and my wife about how we ruined her birthday. My wife did most of the scolding, and she was sent to her room. How could we ruin her birthday if her plans were bed-rotting? She was also mad because she didn't get the gift she wanted, which was a hot chocolate machine. She's the only family member who drinks hot chocolate, and she's not 50, so we got her something else that we thought she would appreciate more. This morning, she ignored all of us, including my sons, who are on our side because they think she's being ungrateful since the party was great. I was just trying to make her birthday special. Am I the asshole? Hey, what do you want for your birthday? Oh, I just like this, and that. Okay, cool. Here is the quite literally exact opposite of what you wanted for your birthday. And if you don't like it, you're going to get yelled at and scolded. You guys didn't even get her what she wanted for her birthday either. She wanted a hot chocolate machine for her birthday. And because, let me check my notes here, no one else drinks hot chocolate, you chose not to get her one because she's not 50. I'm sorry, was this supposed to be a family birthday gift or was this her birthday? You didn't get what she wanted for her birthday because no one else in the family drinks hot chocolate. Like, seriously, there were two things she wanted and you fumbled the ball on both. She wanted just to have some alone time for her birthday because she's an introvert. Nope. Entire family, barbecue, bounce castle, hot chocolate machine for her. Well, no one else drinks hot chocolate, so we'll get her something else. You didn't do anything for your daughter for her birthday. This entire spectacle wasn't for her, it was for you. Because according to you, it would also reflect poorly on us as the family likes big celebrations. You didn't give a shit about your daughter, you were more concerned about the image the family would have on you. And the thing is, this was totally recoverable too. You could have just said, I'm sorry, we thought that this would be a nice surprise for you, we went too far, and we'll do better. And then you should have gone and bought her a hot chocolate machine, but no. You scolded her instead for not being happy that you guys didn't listen to a damn thing she said she wanted for her birthday. Come on! Cross-posted from r/confession. I systematically stole money from my elderly neighbor for months. This confession has weighed on me for over a decade. When I was 19, I lived next door to an elderly woman, Mrs. Henderson. She was sweet, forgetful, and lived alone. I'd sometimes help her with groceries or small tasks, and she trusted me implicitly. She kept a jar of cash on her kitchen counter for emergencies. It usually had a few $100s in it. One day, while helping her put away groceries, I saw it. A week later, I was short on rent. The memory of that jar popped into my head. I made my first move when I knew she was napping. I let myself in with the spare key she'd given me for emergencies, took $40 from the jar, and left. My heart was pounding. She never noticed. That was the breach. Over the next 4 months, it became a horrible routine. Whenever I needed gas money or wanted to go out with friends, I'd find an excuse to pop in and steal $20, $30, or $50. I always rationalized it. She doesn't need it. She won't miss it. I'll pay her back someday. I never did. I stole from her at least a dozen times. I estimate I took between $400 and $500 in total. She sometimes mentioned, confused, that she must have spent her emergency money faster than she thought. I'd just nod and change the subject, feeling like the worst person alive. I moved away for a job soon after. I heard she passed away a few years later. I never confessed and never made amends. I stole from a kind, trusting, vulnerable person who saw me as a helper. I violated that trust for pure selfish convenience. There's no excuse. I was a predator to someone who deserved protection. The guilt has never left me. I am profoundly ashamed and sorry for what I did. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I had to finally admit it. Well, I suppose the only apt punishment is that you now have to live with the guilt of this. Seems like it's already beginning to chew at you, and it's just gonna be like that. You chose to take advantage of an elderly woman for gas money, partying with friends, and whatever else you used the money for is now going to weigh on you. Was that choice worth it in the end? Was that couple extra dollars that you took from an old woman worth it? That's something you'll have to ask yourself and process every day for the rest of your life. Have fun with that. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for making my boyfriend get rid of his toy collection? My boyfriend has always called himself a kid at heart. He collects toys from quite a few different series. Wrestling, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, X-Men, anime, etc. We're in our 20s, but they aren't for collecting purposes. They're all out of the box, and he plays with them. Whenever he thinks I'm asleep, I can hear him mimicking the voices of the characters or doing commentary, and I'll peek in the room and see him actually playing with them. That's another thing. It's a small apartment, and he's got a whole room just for them. And a whole dresser full of parts and cards. Their guns and weapons and such. But they're confined to that room. None of them are anywhere else. When he comes home from work, it's one of the first things he does. Plays with the toys. We get packages from eBay or Amazon almost twice a week, but he still makes time for me. I thought it was cute and endearing at first, but we've got a baby on the way, and my friends are laughing at me. Sounds like you're dating a 12-year-old. With the baby, I want to use that room for something like a nursery. I politely asked him how he'd feel about getting rid of them, but he said no. I said something about giving them to charity, but he said no again. I brought up that it could give us a lot of extra money if we sold them, but he still denied it. I asked about the baby, but he said we'll just budget it out like we always do. How he'll spend less on figures, but selling his collection is out of the question. I told him that they could make some other kid, a less fortunate kid, happy. The teasing from my friends has continued. They all kept telling him he needs to grow up. Word got to his father. According to my boyfriend, his father wouldn't let him buy anything like that after 12, but when he moved out, he could buy all the figures he wanted. I showed his dad pictures of the toy room, and he was shocked. He got mad and said we're stopping that right now, that he wanted me to help him grow up. This morning, my boyfriend was sleeping in when his dad came over. He grabbed a big trash bag and started just grabbing handfuls and putting them inside. When he was almost done, I told my boyfriend what was going on and that it was for his own good. He ran out and saw the room was empty and his dad with 2 trash bags, leaving with them. He tried taking the bag and begging him to quit, but he didn't. His dad said it's time to grow up. He started crying and sat down. But he was yelling at us about how those are all he does, even though he had me. Dad agreed with me. You got your lady and a kid on the way. You don't need this shit. He was sobbing. His dad put them in his car and left. He said he's tossing them in the trash. I told my boyfriend I was sorry, but it had to be done. To think about the baby. But then he yelled at me about how he could throw stuff I collect away. He didn't actually throw them out just to bluff. It was actually all donated to a thrift store. Was this truly wrong of me? This is actually just fucking heartbreaking. For starters, from just a standpoint of what you actually just did is you kind of just committed grand theft. No, not kind of, you did. You took his shit and threw it away. Well, donated it, which honestly is even worse because there's no getting that back. On top of that, you involved his abusive father. What the fuck is wrong with you? You had so many better options in front of you. Like, for starters, you could have talked about a storage unit, maybe just storing them away for the time being while you have a nursery so that way they're still there, they're not going anywhere, the kid has a safe environment, and then when the kid's old enough, you can bring the toys back into the house. And guess what? It could have been a wonderful bonding experience, girl or boy, for them to play with toys with their dad and for him to share his interests and hobbies with the child. And hell, it's not even like he was just overly obsessed or hoarding. He literally still made time for you. This was just his downtime. Some people have video games, some people binge watch TV shows, some people cook, some people have arts and crafts, some people do other things, they have hobbies. This was one of his hobbies, was collecting toys. Toys that he wasn't allowed to have because of his father. His father, which you invited into the house to throw away the things that were important to him. God damn. You listen to the pressure from your friends and his father and put his happiness on the back burner. Assuming you two didn't break up, there is nothing on this planet that you will ever be able to do again that will ever make him trust you. Nothing. There are 3 things right now that as an adult, I love collecting and just enjoying. Transformers, Bionicles, and Warhammer. Recently, I got myself a third-party Ultra Magnus with a lot of die-cast parts that was essentially just multiple steps up from being a masterpiece. If you're into Transformers, you'll understand what that means. Absolutely brilliant figure. And like a goofball, I showed it off on stream recently because it's things that make me happy. We've said it numerous times in this channel, but never date someone who you feel you need to hide your stuffed animals from. And in addition, never be the person in a relationship who your partner needs to feel they have to hide their stuffed animals from you. It's actually kind of crazy to think that OP had a boyfriend who managed to figure out how to properly deal with the environment they lived in with their father and actually had a healthy coping mechanism. And the girlfriend's response? Let's get the father back involved. Good fucking God. Cross-posted from r/am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to walk my daughter down the aisle? I, male 49, have 2 daughters. Marie, 27, and Julie, 23. For context, Julie is not my biological daughter since I married my current wife when she was only 2, and since her dad was absent, I adopted her as my own. But I love both my daughters the same. This being said, I am closer to Julie since she has and still lives with us, and we do almost everything together. Instead, Marie is closer to her mom, mainly because her mom got full custody of her and has never lived with me. Now to the main issue. Julie got engaged about a year ago and immediately asked me to walk her down the aisle. I, of course, agreed and have actively helped her with planning of the wedding, which is scheduled to October of 2022. A couple of weeks ago, Marie asked me to go grab some coffee with her and let me know she's currently pregnant and will soon get married. To be honest, this got me off guard since I didn't even know she had a boyfriend. She apparently will have quite a fast wedding since she doesn't want to show too much, meaning her wedding will be in 3 months. She says it's a small ceremony and asked me to walk her down the aisle. I felt weird about it since I don't even know her fiance and it's all so sudden, so I asked her to let me think about it. It seemed like this answer surprised her, but she understood. I then went home and let my wife and daughter know, and Julie asked me to please decline, since she wanted to be the first to be walked down the aisle, and since she asked first, thinks that I have a stronger commitment to her. What? I agreed since this is more of an us thing rather than an afterthought, like Maria's wedding. I then sent a message to Maria letting her know of my decision with a brief explanation and even offered options like her mom or stepdad to walk with her. I also reassured her that I'd still be with her there and support her with anything. She almost immediately called me crying and telling me how much of a horrible father I am and how I apparently have always played favorite, which hurt me since it's simply not true. I love them both. I tried to explain my reasoning, but she said it doesn't matter and doesn't care about my excuses. She ended up hanging up, and my ex has been sending me tons of texts, berating me and calling me names. Now word is spread to some family members, and they're calling me a deadbeat and trash. But my wife and daughter, of course they do. But my wife and daughter agree that my decision is the only fair one and shouldn't be pressured into doing something I don't want. Oh my God. I'm starting to feel guilty, but I'm honestly unsure. Am I the asshole for refusing to walk my daughter down the aisle? Edit, I don't know what to do now. These comments have really opened my eyes to how horrible I was to my daughter. I feel like I've been oblivious to several things I did and allowed to happen. I feel like the worst asshole there is, and I don't even know if there's room to fix it. I'll try to reach out to her, but after reading your opinions, I doubt she'll accept, and I totally get it. Edit 2, I posted a proper update on my page. Thanks for helping out. Update. I tried to update on r/AmITheDevil, but sadly got taken down, and I was advised to post here. Before anything, I want to thank everyone who gave their opinion. Though harsh, it helped me see how much of an ass I was. Now to the update. Tons happened after I post and since my edit. I tried calling and texting Maria, but she rejected my calls. Eventually, I was able to talk to my ex, who told me Maria wasn't in the position to talk since I put a lot of stress on her and could be dangerous because of her pregnancy. I didn't want to cause more harm, so I stopped bothering her, but I did let my ex know that I felt horrible and wanted to apologize. She once again called me out on my BS, but agreed on talking to her. On Tuesday, she finally answered my texts and agreed on talking, but only over the phone and with her mom there. Of course, I agreed, and we had a long but productive talk. As a lot of you guessed, she has been bottling up a lot of resentment towards me and Julie's relationship, and opened up about how she always felt left out and pushed away. She actually told me several events I wasn't aware of between her, Julie, and my wife. What kind of events are we talking about here? I apologized profusely and offered to walk her down, and surprisingly she accepted my apology but said she isn't ready to accept me to walk her down at this time, since now the thought of it makes her mad and sad. I understood but insisted that I will if she asks again. We agreed of me meeting her fiancé, as many of you suggested. It'll be later in the week, on Sunday. Turns out they've been dating for almost 2 years! She never thought I'd care, so never introduced us, and I never stopped to ask about her love life. She is still hurt, but is trying to stay stress-free, so I will try to keep it that way. She didn't ask for anything else, but didn't uninvite me either, luckily. I did offer her to go to therapy, but she said she's already going, but agreed on looking on the possibility of going together. As for Julie and my wife, I talked to them earlier today. I held on telling them to sort out things with Maria first. I sat them down and confronted them about how they had treated Maria. My wife didn't say much and said she didn't have time or energy for that conversation. Julie denied everything, which I, of course, don't believe. Then I dropped the bomb and everything exploded. My wife asked why I'm babying my daughter and allowing her to bully me into changing my mind. I couldn't help but laugh, seeing the irony. She ended up being fed up and leaving the room. Julie got mad immediately and asked me why I was ruining her special day and everything we worked for. Not going to lie, I did feel sad seeing her upset, but I let her know her wedding and walking is still happening. She started crying and stayed in her room all day until now. My wife is currently ignoring me, and I'll probably have to sleep in the guest room. As for now, I'm looking forward on being there for both my daughters and future grandchild. I know Julie will get over it eventually. She tends to be like this. So, Reddit, thank you for helping me see the dumbass I was and helping me to maybe salvage my relationship with my daughter. That final line there of, Julie will get over it eventually, she tends to be like this. Also, I do want to go back to part 1 and explain a massive red flag that I caught but didn't want to explain until afterwards. But my wife and daughter agree that my decision is only fair. That did make me chuckle because, of course the people who would benefit the most from you exiling your daughter would agree with you and say that you're being fair. But the additional line that followed that of, shouldn't be pressured into doing something I don't want. OP never directly stated he didn't want to walk his daughter down the aisle. He was apprehensive because he had never met the partner and felt that this was all coming up, at least in his opinion, out of nowhere, but never stated that he didn't want to walk her down the aisle. Until after his conversation with Julie of how she wanted to be the first to be walked down the aisle. And now that's being framed as his decision. It's something you don't want to do. That's a manipulator's engineered language right there to get you to do what they want you to do. And it's certainly something to keep an ear out for, because when it happens to you, sometimes you just sweep it under the rug so you don't rock the boat and go along with it. And you don't really think about it at all until retrospect hits you. To me, it sounds like Julie and your wife have pretty much spent the past 20 years actively isolating your daughter from you, and you allowed it to happen, not realizing what they were doing and played a complete blind eye to it, potentially accidentally, but you also may have noticed but swept it under the rug in hopes of not rocking the boat. Hopefully, you can begin to rebuild that relationship, but definitely keep an eye out for your stepdaughter and wife's manipulative tendencies. Because right now, she just put you in the boat where you're ruining her wedding if you walk your daughter down the aisle because her wedding is before Julie's. Think about how selfish and me that situation is. That is insane. It's ridiculous. Either she is that self-centered, or this is a purposeful tactic to further drive a wedge between you and your biological daughter. Perhaps Julie also needs therapy. Cross posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for stealing groceries as a prank? This happened a while back, but the event resurfaced in a recent conversation. My friend and I used to be in a relationship, but are just good friends now. When we were together, I had a key to his place. Sometimes I'd stay over late and leave around 2 a.m. to sleep at my place. One day, at around 2 a.m., I thought it'd be funny to take his Costco haul he'd gotten that day. I'd take it home, and he'd wake up to find his fridge almost empty. He'd know it was me and call me, and I'd bring it back and restock everything. I live 10 minutes away. So even if he was hungry, I figured I'd be back quick enough with his food. It was a harmless prank, or so I thought. I thought it was funny, imagining him opening up his fridge in the morning, confused to find just his usual eggs and milk and not his recently purchased pounds of meats and cheeses. He called me around 7 a.m. fuming. Him. You disrespected the trust I have in giving you keys to my place. It's breaking a boundary. Your prank wasn't funny, you stole my food. That's my food, and I paid $200 for it. Your prank makes me look stupid. It makes me the butt of the joke. It's disrespectful. Me. I didn't steal your food. I was going to bring it back and restock everything once you realized. I thought it was a harmless prank because you literally don't get hurt in any way. Him. I know you weren't going to actually keep any of my food. I know you were going to come back and restock my fridge. My point still stands. So I came back with his food and restocked everything, as promised. I apologize for hurting him in any way, but I honestly didn't understand why he overreacted. I still don't. It's been about a year since that happened. We're good friends now. We talked on the phone the other day and the prank came up, and I laughed at how stupid it was. He instantly got serious and repeated again that it's not funny at all. It's really disrespectful, etc. It kind of ruined the tone of the conversation. Is he overreacting and being too sensitive, or am I just not understanding? Am I the asshole for stealing his groceries as a prank? Edit. Thank you to everyone who responded. I never considered that my friend might have had some food scarcity trauma from his childhood. He told me he grew up rather poor. But even if he doesn't, I broke his trust in giving me a key to his place. A key I still have, actually, and I won't dishonor that trust again. I understand that I was the asshole, and I'll be apologizing as soon as I can. A real apology this time. On a lighter note, I learned some fun, actually harmless pranks to try out this year. Edit 2. I called him today and apologized for not seeing his side, for breaking boundaries, for making light of his reactions, everything. I also promised to never bring the prank up again. He said he appreciated the apology and accepted. We're gonna hang out now. Thank you again, Reddit. Happy New Year. The friend growing up with food insecurity is just the icing on top. The prank itself, no matter what, is just not funny. And OP, despite being told that they found it disrespectful and that it broke boundaries, continued to find it funny for a full year. And it kind of sucks that it took Reddit pointing out the fact that this was not okay for them to actually start to consider that their friend might actually have a point with feeling like they've been disrespected or their boundaries had been crossed. Like OP spent a year blowing off all of their friends' comments about how this was disrespectful, how they didn't appreciate it, how this was hurtful, and they were like, yeah, whatever, let me go ask Reddit. It took strangers on the internet for them to actually realize that, oh, my behavior wasn't okay. Like, I'm glad you finally see it, but it still probably sucks for your friend on the fact that you didn't take a single word of theirs seriously or any of their feelings or emotions into consideration and just stonewalled it. And thought that you were in the right no matter what because it was just a funny prank. I hope that you do actually internalize the feedback that Reddit gave you and hope that you grow from it. And for all future pranks, they should either be at your expense or confuse or amuse, not abuse. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for canceling my friend's birthday trip after she invited someone I hate? So I, 29 male, planned and paid a deposit for a weekend cabin trip for my friend, Luke's, 30 male, birthday. Days before the trip, he invited over his girlfriend, 27 female, with whom I had problems with in the previous month, and he knows all the stuff about it. I said that I wouldn't go if she came with, and he told me to deal with it. Since CINCE? Oh my god! I said that I wouldn't go if she came with, and he told me to deal with it since it was his birthday. I couldn't put up with her, and because of that, I canceled the booking and lost the deposit. Now other friends are taking his side and are saying that I ruined his birthday. So am I the asshole? Update, I got a lot of opinions from you guys and am thankful. Most of you thought I was in the wrong, and when I thought about it and analyzed your comments, I realized that you guys were right. First of all, I apologized to my friend and he was very forgiving. After that, I called his girlfriend and we discussed how our relationship needed to go on. So now we're in clear, there is no more misunderstandings, and to compensate, I booked a lake house near us and told him to invite anyone he wants. So you had an issue with his girlfriend over the time span of a month, and when he wanted to invite his girlfriend on his birthday, you decided to cancel the trip. You couldn't put up with his girlfriend who you've only had an issue with for a single month for his birthday? Like in the update, I'm glad you went back on your decision, but it still is kind of frustrating you had to go to Reddit to find out that canceling someone's birthday because they're bringing their girlfriend does make you an asshole.
Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Bear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup. And you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.